This type of Yerushalmi Bikkurim in the Art Scroll Oz edition of Chav Gimel Amud Aleph. At the additional header of the Art Scroll on the third line down, and then below Keintani. Since there is no such header, it starts below Keintani, which is the ninth line from the end of Yud Aleph and Aleph, the last word on the line. So our Mishnah had said that Chol Bali Umnius, all the crafts in Yerushalayim would stand when the people came and bringing the Bikurim. So the Gemara says, Tani Tokum Vadarta. So we now learn Tokum Vadarta. There's a linkage between Tokum and Adarta. Just like the getting up has no, there's no loss involved, no money expended in it. Af hidor, so to a hidor should be one she'em bo cheson kis. There's one where there is no cheson kis. This actually is a drasha in the Bryce which in the Bavli Daf Kiddushin Amud Gimel Amud Aleph. So why they have to stand from the Bikurim? Because presumably there's a lot of people bringing Bikurim. There's a lot of standing going up. There's a lot of loss going on here, right? So Shani Yacha. Yeah, well, it could be an extended period when a lot of people bring in Bikurim, but it doesn't happen that often because the Tamechon walked by that all the time. But Bikurim, that's a rarity, so therefore it's not going to result in a significant loss. As well as Achas Kitzim once every case, once every once every long term. Rabbi Yisrael ben Chuna Berachia said, "Borei kamagodo kechon shel oisei mitzvah." This is what I believe in Bavli as well. How great is the power of oisei mitzvah? Shemnei zaken ein omdim. Be that in front of a zaken we don't stand. It's going to cause a loss. And may oisei mitzvah. There's people who do the mitzvah, and the Bavli I think Lush is chaviva mitzvah b'shaita. That therefore we stand in front of them, and despite the fact that you don't stand in front of them, whereas the issue of a loss involved, you stand in front of the Oseh Mitzvah B'Shaita. Amar Rabbi Rabun, Elaine the Kaimi Kumi Mesa. Somebody, those who get up in front of a mace, when they pass the mace, let me come in mace and I'm not going to honor the mace. Mace couldn't care less at this point. They're saying before, and the covet of those people are being malav in the mace and burying him, and they're being going chesed, and that's chaviv mitzvah v'shaita as well. The mitzvah of levayas and mace, and we're standing in respect for the people being malav in the mace. How many times a day does a person have to stand in front of a zokin? Rabbi Shimon Bar Abba B'Shem said pamayim biyom, twice a day. So it shouldn't be more chomer. The Bavli says in Kedushin Daf Lam Gimel than Kabbalas B'nei Shechina. Kabbalas B'nei Shechina is twice a day. Kriyash Mashachas Narvis. So you only get up twice a day. Rabbi Elazar holds that Talmid Chacham only once a day, so he shouldn't be on an equal footing with the Kodesh Baruch Hu, whereas twice a day. Lo Chein Tana Rishim Elazar Omer Nazar Shriach. So there's a question from that which says in the Brisa, which brought down also Bavli Kedushin that Daf on base. How do you know Talmid Chacham should not be much shviach? The tzibur should not cause them difficulty to constantly come back and forth, and that they have to stand in front of him. Talmid Zakein v'Yereisim Elkach Hashem. The Zakein says V'Neisa Takum V'Adarta Pnei Zakein. Then Yereisim Elkach Hashem as a separate phrase, but here we're dashing as if it's one phrase. Zaken Hashem. The Zaken should be fearful of God, so that he should not be matshriach so much. Right? He should have in mind that Am Yisrael should not have to suffer that much on his accounts. So I thought Rabbi Yechanan Nicha. Okay, I understand. The Zaken should be I guess getting up twice a day is a tircha, so therefore the Zaken should limit his appearance to once a day. Fine. But you only have to get up once a day anyway. So again, that's the case. What do you mean Zaken? You're only getting up once anyway. Al died Rabbi Elazar lo yom kol ikar. Rabbi Yaakov Bar Acha b'shem Rabbi Elazar said the lo yichame siyata the site of the sami. It shouldn't say see a siya a group. Uh, some better word for that, but it just escaped me in the moment. A I don't know. It's some better word, which I'm not. That's not coming to me. It's a group of elders who have difficult to get up. Vava command and go in front of them. Begin to you kumun lumi kameh in order they should get up in front of him, even once a day. So it shouldn't be matriarch people who for it's difficult. Okay, so now the Gemara says the have a similar machlekes we have here in Kishem Shecholkin and Shecholkin Kan Kachim Cholkin Chalukim B'Shel Shalom. There's an issue also by greeting. Uh, that according to Rabbi Yochanan, you have to greet your Rebbe twice a day. According to Rabbi Elazar, you only have to greet your Rebbe once a day. Rabbi Chizka, Rabbi Chanan, Brei, Rabbi Avo, B'Shem, Rabbi Duma, Rabbi Chayfa said, "L'zakin arba amos." For a Talmid Chacham, you have to get up when it comes within you for amos. You still remain standing. Why is it within you for amos? And then avar lefanav yeshivlo. Once he passes in front of you, you can sit down. Here it says Kohen Gadol, but the Rash Civilio changed it. Levi Shalom changed, of course, as well. If it's an Abesin, Omen Milfonim below Enob. You have to stand from the time you see him. Kamish Over Yeshiv. Once he sits down, once he passes him, sorry, you can sit down. Then it says Kohen Gadol to say Nasi. Nasi Mishu Uro Eyu. From the time you see him, not just till he passes, until he goes by and is he's no longer within your line of sight. So and of course, when he sits down, it'll be the same thing. My time, or what pasuk teaches this? But says Moshe Ola Yakuma Gomer. It says that the reason saying for Nasi when you see him until he's concealed from your sight, because it says Shemos Lam Gimel. But says Moshe Ola Yakuma Ad Boel until he came into his tent. One time you saw him, until the time he went into his tent. Trei Chanamar Shvach Chanamar Lignai. The two Amoraim had a machlekes in this pasuk. There's also brought down the Bavli, Kiddush Lam Gimel, Yerushalmi Bikkurim as well. When they're looking at him, were they doing it in a positive way, in Shevach, or in a negative way? Man Shvach, who says a positive way, it says that Mechame Tzadikayim Mazaki, they wanted to see the face of the tzaddik and get a merit thereby. He who said they looked askance. Chaze Shaki, they said, see his thighs. Chaze Karen, see his legs. They are large. Achim min Yudoi, he's eating from the Jews. Shas min Yudoi, he's drinking from the Jews. Kol midlei min Yudoi, all of his called midlei, it's like midilei, everything which he possesses is from the Jews. There's a question here why the next statement is here, but Aron Panav Klape Am. The Aron Kodesh faces towards the nation. The Kohanim Klape Am, and the Kohanim, when they give the bracha, face the nation. B'so Pnei Klape Kodesh, and the Jews face the Kodesh, both the Aron, of course, and the Kohanim. So again, there's a whole discussion why this is here, but we'll leave that for now. It's a long plot today. Amar Abelazar said, "Ein Torah mezif nei beno." A Talmud is sitting learning Torah. He doesn't stand from his Rebbe, who's the son of the Torah, because he's involved in Torah. The Talmud is learning Torah, so you should get him from the son of the Torah. I don't think we don't pass this way, but he says when you're learning, you don't get up. Of course, if you're learning, you don't notice, you don't get up. But if you notice, you do get up. Amar Abelazar said, Shmuel says, "Ein omdim." Oh, 1 second. The Mashbiach writes that when a person's learning Torah, he's called when a ben Torah is learning Torah, it's called Torah Atzma. I think it's Basham Shah the word here. Anytime it's in a but that's what you see. Torah doesn't stand in front of its son. But Ben Torah is learning, becomes Torah. And then the Zaken is passing by is the Ben Torah. I guess that's what the dash in there. Shmuel says you don't stand in front of a chaver, a Talmud who is a person who's like a Talmud chaver who's the down to the level of a full-fledged Talmud Chacham. Rabbi Hila, Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Yehuda have Yosefin. Rabbi Hila and Rabbi Yaakov, Rabbi Yehuda were sitting. Yavar Shmuel Barba. Shmuel Barba passed. The Kamal and Kamoi, and they rose in front of him. So Somebody said, "Tartan Gabechan, I have two kindness against you. Two things you did against the Probiel. Chatash any Zaken. First, I'm not a Zaken. I'm just a chaver. And b'chadash ain't Torah even also the Torah doesn't say you were learning. She got up in front of the son of the Torah. Rabbi Acha mafsi v'koyim. Rabbi Acha would stop in the middle of his learning and get him from the Talmud Chacham. Do chashish kadein tanya, because he was concerned that halachas like these tanoim. The Tanya learned kaises starting film mezuzos. The people who write slavery who write Sefer Torah film mezuzos mafsiking the kriya shma. They interrupt for shema ve'ema singing the tefillah. So they stop for kriya shema. It's midoraisa or because it's manakavua. They don't stop to daven for davening because it's either rabbanon or because ain't manakavua. Rabbi Chaim ben Akavi Omer Kashem Shem Mafsikin Kriya Shema just like for Shema Kach Mafsikin L'Tfila. So too you interrupt. They interrupt their Avodas Hakodesh for Tfila U'L'Tfilin U'Shar Mitzvot Shel Torah. So he doesn't have the principle Isim Mitzvah Potem Min Mitzvah when it's involved. The covenant Torah is involved, and he holds Tfila even though Tfila's mitzvah is also Midoraisa, and so therefore. Even the covenant Torah is superior to I shouldn't say covenant Torah, just like the mafsik for all other mitzvahs, even in the middle of being a mitzvah, so to your mafsik for standing in front of the Talmud Chacham, even though you're involved in learning Torah. Rabbi Mon. The have a loy baraisa called Sarkei, who learned Torah all that really all he needed to, but it means he learned Torah to a great extent, and he was tired. Have azam yasakum bevada. He used to go and sit in front of the base measure. Give mechame sabin. I'm thinking it's in the Bible there in Kiddush as well, in order to see the Talmidei Chachamim and mekam leim come out and rise in front of them. Yalif, the was learning. He was learning, I guess, Yom and Balayla, and have a Salik v'shal b'shalom Rabbi Yanai Chamoy. So he went to ask, inquire, greet Rabbi Yanai, his father-in-law, Me'erev Shabbos le'erev Shabbos. From every Erev Shabbos. Rabbi Yosef lay, Rabbi Yanai was sitting on Asar Tole. It was sitting on a high place, and he would be, I'm having a guilty conscience here. I think actually here means Yolif. He was accustomed, not he was learning. Sorry. He was Yolif. He was accustomed to Rabbi Yanai to go and greet his Rabbi Yanai Chamui, his father-in-law. So not he was learning and he interrupted to go ask to show him his father-in-law. No, he was accustomed. Right? This was his habit to go inquire the health of Rabbi Yanai. His father-in-law Me'erev Shabbos. Shabbos Rabbi Yosef lay. Rabbi Yanai would sit Alasar Talei in a high place. Begin mechamanei in order to see him. It came lemikul kamui. And to rise in front of him, in front of his own son-in-law. Amr ladies, Tamid said to Rabbi Lochin, Ilfan Rebbe, Lozakin Arba Amos? Lozakin Arba Amos? Why are you getting up at such a distance? Amalei said, "Ain't she with Sinai? You don't send him from Sinai." Rechia was a tremendous god of Lador, and he was outstanding as Chachma. He knew the Torah as was given from Sinai. You don't sit in front of him, even though he wasn't his talmid. He didn't have an official position. He was a son-in-law, nevertheless, because of the great respect he rose from in Mulo Einov. Chadzman, one time, Ani, he was Yehuda Bar Chia was late. Masik to come. Amarle Efshadir Bri Shemishayim Haga. It's is it possible that Yehuda, my son, even though the son-in-law called him his son, changed his minhag? Amarle Efshar. It says here the loyigun, but it should be the yagyun. Amar, that's from the Shas. Leis Efshar Gin Yisurim Beguvat Tzadika. It's not possible that he's suffering from some illness or malady of some because he was such a big tzaddik. He had no need for holy yisurin. It must be that he must have died. Mistaber she'ein lana Yehuda Berebi. What was his name? Berchia, but it just says Yehuda Beis Reish. But evidently he died, and evidently he didn't die. It's a similar mice in the Bavli as well. It's like a shkar yetzim pia shalit, and he died as a result of this statement. Yeah, starts coming down from the Bavli and Ksuvas Daf Samach Beis. The same story with some different details, but the same people. And the Bavli says the shkar yetzim pia shalit, and even though it wasn't true, as a result of the statement. This inadvertent, Tiftach Belasata, Yehuda Bechia died. But Yerushalmi doesn't necessarily learn that way. Yerushalmi could be that it is, he actually did die. It doesn't say here that he died as a result of the statement. It does here. It's interesting. In the Yerushalmi it says Yehuda Beis Reish, and the article is Yehuda Berebi. Which makes sense because they would say Rebbe is like something we say about the God of Ador. I don't see anybody who's. The Moshe also says he brings on the Bavli Shkol Meir to be a Shalit. Okay, in any event, Reimer Chame Afilu Sav Am Oretz Mekamle Min Kamoi. I remember when he say it's an elderly person, even Amoritz, he would stand up in front of him. The Bavli, very famous Bavli in Kedusha, brings down that Rabbi Yochanan would get up even kind of not just Amoratzim, even non-Jewish elderly, because of what the experience that they went they've gone through their lives. But here, this is just Amaratzim, and not for naught has he had a long life. It must be that he has some merit. Rabbi Chanina Mache Man Lokay Min Kukumoi. If you take Kipshuto, Rabbi Chanina, you used to hit people, didn't go up in front of him. He said, Mi Ba'isa Mabatlo Doraisa. He said, do you want to be Mabatlo? The mitzvah d'oraisa, of getting up from Talmid Chacham. So I wrote it inside the Gemara. Rabbi Chanina was known, at least certainly was Rabbi Chanina B'Doisa. It's not clear Rabbi Chanina always in Shas Rabbi Chanina B'Doisa or not, probably not. But the Tzadok says anytime his name Chanina, it means somebody who feels leis nemigar me klum. He has nothing of his own. It's all from a Kosh Baruch Hu and nothing of his own merit. So I wrote Dafka Rabbi Chanina, who felt everything he got from Rabbi Chanina from Shamayim. That, by the way, is between Rabbi Yana and Rabbi Chanina. Rabbi Yana met for Kai, and he was waiting for Shabbos to come, and Rabbi Chanina would go out to the field and saying, let's go out towards the Shabbos. Rabbi Yana is Lashon Chashivas, so it says Mashiach Yanan Shmo, so he felt, where Shabbos comes to me. Chanina said, who am I? I'm nothing means lacing me don't make klum, so he went out towards Shabbos. Then the same thing over here. Dafka Rabbi Chanina felt it was nothing about me. I'm a garnished. But there's a mitzvah in the Torah to stand in front of people who assimilated Torah. So since he had no sense of self, that's why he was one who could be makbid and kaviyachol at least hit people, did not rise in front of him. Rabbi they say, be in front of an elderly, you should rise up and give honor. I'm sorry, but that is okay, and give honor to the Talmid Chacham, and be fearful of God. And Hashem Ushikiyamti, I mean a zakin tequila. It says, probably because we just read Parshas Vayera. It says, I fulfilled the mitzvah of standing for him as zakin, Kaviyachol, right, by Avraham Avinu, right? It says, Chazal say, Avram, in Beishas Rabbah, other places say, well, it says, Avram Adonai Omed Lifnei Hashem, that's a Tikkun Sofrim. Rashi brings down there that Hashem waited for Avram. Hashem stood for Avram. So therefore, Hashem is Hashem stood for Avram Avinu, and therefore, you should learn from me. When the Nasi comes in, Omni, all the people stand in front of him. Nobody has to sit down until he says to them, sit down. Osim lo shuros. They make from rows, and only those who are in the shura, the row which you choose to go through, that they have to stand. Choose the row. They stand, the rest can sit down. They first make the rows all standing up, and then whichever row he selects, they stand in that one. Chacham comes in, they don't all stand up in a row till he gets a seat, but one step pops up, one step pops down, pops up, one step pops down, until he gets to his place. And Meir Haviyoli from Meir was a custom. Let's get right the first time. So the base to go to the base manager, I hope you would see him, and they would stand in front of him. Kat Shamun, when they heard Hain Tanya, that when the people heard Hain Tanya, this part said that Tanya, which says that one steps up and one sits down, but came. They wanted to do that. It was like, okay, we're no longer standing up the whole time. He's not the Nasi. So they caused him nothing. And he said he got angry and he left. He said, he said to them, Shamati Shemaim because you're low moridin. You can't, once you gave me the higher cover, you're not allowed to degrade me again and give me lower cover. Okay, Rabbi is two dots in the article. Rabbi Zira have him boy miminite below my kabbalah. Rabbi Zira, they wanted to appoint him to be an abbesi, they don't want to accept because it was very big on him. Below my kabbalah. Shama hahain tani. When he heard the Bryce which says, there's something in the Bible as well. Chacham, chasam, and nasi. A chacham, person becomes a chacham. A person becomes a chasam, he gets married. A nasi person becomes a nasi. Kedula mechaperes, his greatness is atones for him. The fact that he rides the greatness is atoned for him. Kabil olem mamlisei. He accepted upon himself to be appointed. How do we know this? Chacham, we learn out from that which it says, says to rise on Chacham and say, when a ger lives in your land, do not afflict him. Just like ger who's Megayer of Averis and Skapra of Chacham, she's man, so the Chacham who's appointed that position, was Averis forgiven. Chasan, how do you know Chasan Averis forgiven? Yelech Esav El Bishmael, Esav went to Yishmael, Veikachas Machlas Bas Yishmael, he married Machlas the daughter of Yishmael. Machlas Shma was the name Machlas, Basmas Shma, name was Basmas. El Shanim Chlukavanos of the cuts when you get married, all of your Averis are atoned for. Nasi, as we learn up front, because there's been Shana Shol V'Malko. Shol was a year old, became king. Ben Shana was a year old. El Shanichol Kavanos of all of his Averis were atoned for him. Ketinok Ben Shana like a child a year old. Rabbi Yimona make Kalil the Mismane Kesef. Rabbi Yimona was degraded. He was lean. He was light on those. In other words, degraded those who were appointed for the money. And because and Rabbi Yami said about people who are appointed for their money, and the pasuk he said about them, Elohei Kesef Elohei Zov Los Asulachem. So the Bible, it's actually Bible says Darshan. So Kesef Zov Lo Avdei Hadeitz Mutter. You're not allowed to make a Kesef Zov, but you're allowed to make wooden gods. No, but a lohe, which comes on account of Kesef V'Zav, you appoint a leader on the basis of Kesef V'Zav, that should not do. So that's what he's referring to. Rabbi Yeshiva said the B'tali Shalom Kiradas Shel Chamor. The beggar of the time of Chacham, which he wears, is like the saddle of a should be like regarded as a saddle of as the saddle yeah, I think it's like the plank you put under the saddle. In other words, even if he's wearing the garments of a chacham, if he's appointing an account of money, just regard it as a saddle blanket. Don't be impressed by the garments. Okay, that brings us to the it's Amar Rebbe Shane. Zeshu mismane beketzev some is for money and be in front of. Don't stand in front of him. Ben karos a Rebbe. Don't call him Rebbe. And but same idea. So it's where it's like the blanket of a donkey. Okay, it goes on about this person waiting for money, but we're already on Chaf Aleph. So we're long days, so we'll stop here for today.